Also, to that end, Brian, we are very happy to be joined by Representative Judge Ruppersberger from Maryland. Of course, he is the ranking member on the House Intel Committee. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Brian and Larry.
Could you please let us know what the latest is? We had so many conflicting reports yesterday out of Boston. It was very frustrating for those of us in the media as well as those of us who are consumers of the news. Can you give us any sort of enlightenment on where things stand with the investigation in Boston?
Sure. Well, the first thing we have to do as citizens is let the professionals do the job. And I think our insatiable appetite to get the news every hour and every minute is fine, but we'll give people the news and the FBI basically and the law enforcement officers when they get the facts and data that are necessary. What we have right now, in the status right now, the investigation is going very well. The FBI, in my opinion, are the best in the world in what they do in investigating crimes, getting forensic evidence. They've reached out to the public and have said to the public, give us all the pictures or any evidence that you have, and that has really worked. There have been so many pictures coming in. There are over thousands of pictures that they have to use technology to sort a lot of that out. But it's paying off. And what we really have now is, and these are suspects now. Remember this, the focus are on two individuals, one individual that was seen carrying the type of bag that they got the forensic evidence from, a black bag. And this was before the actual explosion occurred. And then after that, they have this individual talking to someone else. Now, they haven't determined who the individuals are. They're trying to find that out. They're trying to make a decision whether they need to put these faces out on national news, or whether they feel they feel that they have the ability to find these people without that. And that's kind of where the status is right now.
All right. So yesterday there was chaotic reporting about this.
Yeah.
My experience as a journalist tells me that when you have dissonance among some of the reporting, that there was something going on there. I mean, this stuff doesn't come out of a vacuum. Can you give me any guidance at all based on your briefings as to what it is that might have triggered this dissonance in reporting?
Well, I think, and I know this because a lot of reporters have been talking to me in the last day and a half or so, and one of the reporters showed me something that I know that they have is not classified, a picture of an individual carrying a black bag, and this is before the explosion. And there was a black bag that the pressure cooker, that we've determined it's a pressure cooker that was filled with nails and BBs and that type of thing. And I think as a result of the media having that probably was an indication that they were close to identifying someone. But remember this, too. In our country and getting it, we have to get evidence. Just because you identify someone and they're a suspect doesn't mean that they're the person that did it. We had that in the beginning when you remember there was a Saudi Arabian individual who was there and running from the scene. Well, most people are going to run from a scene when there's an explosion. So I assume that's how this started. I was on the floor. We have our bill, our cybersecurity bill on the floor, and I was on the floor for a couple hours and I got off and somebody said they found somebody. Well, that was not the case at all.
And Congressman, if we can just jump back really quickly, you said that there are definitely two suspects, was the word that you used. Is there
two persons of interest?
Persons of interest. Okay. Sure. Thank you for clearing that up. Is there any description of those two people that you can provide us now?
I can say that the one is a white male who was carrying a black bag over his shoulder, and we know that the actual bomb was in a black bag. And again, forensic evidence. We're attempting to get as much evidence from that black bag, trying to find out the pressure cooker, where it was manufactured, where it was, an individual might have purchased it. These are leads, and the FBI is so good at what they do in that regard, just following tedious leads, details, and then tying in the pictures. Thank goodness we had a picture on top of a building, because a lot of the pictures that were taken, it's tough when you're in a crowd, but when you have an overview picture, that really was a good break too. That we were able to get information from that picture that would look down instead of on the side.
All right. So based on the briefings that you've had, and I know you can't share everything,
right?
Do you this morning feel optimistic that the FBI is going to be able to wrap this thing up fairly soon, or do you feel that there's still a lot of work yet to be done?
I don't think time is of an issue. I want the FBI to do whatever they have to do to get it right, and they're good at getting it right. But they have to get this evidence. And I don't think you can predict at this time if it's going to be short. I can say this, and I've been involved in. I was a former prosecutor working with law enforcement, and now my role in the Intelligence Committee. It took a while to get bin Laden, but we brought him to justice. And I can tell you this, we will bring these individuals to justice. We'll find out who did it, why they did it, and then we need to learn again to make sure that it doesn't happen again. I don't know if we have a little time, but I can talk about one concern I have, and that is we, and those of us in the Intelligence Committee, have always been concerned about the lone wolf. We're so sophisticated in our ability to collect intelligence throughout the world that it's going to be very difficult, I think, for an al-Qaeda or a major operation to occur again like a 9/11, because either we will get information from people or we'll get information through our technical abilities. But the thing that concerns us is the lone wolf, and that is an individual under the radar. Laki, who was really running al-Qaeda in Yemen, was an American citizen, knew this, and he was the one that helped plan if you recall, the shoe bomber, the incident that happened in Times Square, the underwear bomber. This was all Laki, getting one or two individuals under the radar, and then also training people or giving people instructions how to make bombs. Al-Qaeda has a magazine that is allowed to be in the United States because of our First Amendment rights that tells people how to make bombs, including pressure cooker bombs, the type that was used here. Because pressure cooker bombs are used in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and used a lot. These are IEDs types of situations. So that's why we say to the public, be aware, if anything unusual, let the authorities know, and then they'll take it from there to help to protect our country.
Our guest is Representative Dutch Ruppersberger from Maryland, and sir, we thank you so much for all this very good information. Can I ask you one last thing? You said these persons of interest. I just want to confirm this. They are not in custody, and we don't know where they are at this time?
No, there's a decision to be made whether or not they're going to put these pictures out to the public or not to try to find these individuals. But anything that we have to make sure that we do this professionally in the right way. We don't want to have an individual flee the country if they feel that they're a target. But we, again, have law enforcement has gone to all the airports and train stations, and law enforcement has these pictures right now. But I can just say we have to feel secure in the confidence of the FBI, the state and local law enforcement, and they're working as a team, and that's important too.
I wanted to ask one more question because I really love this opportunity to be able to clear up some of the really crazy rumors you hear on the internet. There's a story out there about this Saudi national who was here on a student visa, who was considered a person of interest at one point. Now he's considered a witness. There's a suggestion that he's being deported. Do you know anything about this, or can you shed some light on it?
Well, if I did, I couldn't tell you, but I don't have any knowledge to that effect. And again, once issues start, people start talking, and there are a lot of rumors that are flying out there. And that's why we in some situations, have to have classified information.
Right.
There are only certain people know. We don't want to tip our enemies, those people that are plotting against us, just for the sake of getting out information very quickly.
Listen, I'm sorry, Congressman. Our time is running out this morning, but let me just say thank you immensely because it is so good to have someone who actually knows something to be able to come on and help us clear up fact from fiction. Please, if you have new developments, I hope you'll pick up the phone and join us again. We'll clear the decks anytime you want to be on.
I just want to make sure that we don't make this a political issue. This isn't about politicians giving information. This is about dealing with a serious situation and protecting our country.
Representative Dutch Ruppersberger from Maryland, and he's the ranking Democrat on the Intel Committee. And by the way, by reputation, one of the really good guys up on Capitol Hill.